There we go. There's the
Our
disclaimer.
show's all about Leah getting into 700 things and Brett going like, when do you sleep? Like, really?
You know,
Don't.
I wish that I'd have the time to get into things. I have plenty of time. I have no desire, I guess. I'm just turning into a crotchety old man.
I think my problem is I have like attention deficit disorder. And so, like, anytime anything looks different and new, I'm just like, I'm going to throw way too much money and all of my time at this.
Yeah. Yeah,
And then
I
in about
just
2 weeks, I'm going to be like over it. I'm going to have something else. And you're going to be like, wow, I guess you're not into pickling vegetables anymore. What are you doing now? I'm making hot sauce. I'm into quilting. I'm not into either of those right now, but I am getting into is Sculpty.
Sculpty. What's
Yeah, did you ever
Sculpty?
play with Sculpty when you were like in grade school? Because that's like when normal people play with this stuff.
I have no
Uh,
idea what it is.
so it's like it's a polymer clay. It's probably a little bit the consistency is a little bit stronger and durable than Play-Doh.
Okay.
But you can bake it in the oven and it turns hard. So
Hmm.
I follow a bunch of artists on social media that make jewelry out of Sculpty, which I guess I just always thought you'd make little figurines and stuff. So
Yeah.
I really love the food ones. So I really geeked out a bunch of artists that are making like pumpkin pie earrings and little turkeys and
Oh, that's
stuff like that.
cool.
So I was like, oh, I wanna get some of that. So me and Zooks have been making little mushrooms and squirrels and lobsters and kind of anything he wants because it's
Now,
me.
is it 3D or is it
Hmm.
flat? It's
It's
like
3D.
okay,
We
and
officially have like a whole troop of mushrooms.
it it bakes pretty good just right in a regular oven.
Yeah, like it's like 350 for 15 minutes and it's rock hard.
Oh,
And
wow.
actually, like instead of Play-Doh, it's nice as Sculpey doesn't dry out. So he still plays with it and makes things, and we just put in a big ball and leave it on the kitchen counter because he'll play with it later, but it's not going to dry out like Play-Doh. So
Okay.
yeah, it's pretty sweet. It shows
So
like I look really fabulous in our show today because I'm actually wearing makeup.
well,
Enjoy.
well, it is 6 o'clock on Saturday,
Yes.
and you're planning on going out tonight. So
Yeah, we have a babysitter, so like I'm trying to not look like a mom that doesn't have new clothes and doesn't buy all her makeup at Walgreens.
well, good
They
for
have nice Walmart. They've
you.
got nice makeup at the like drugstore now. I don't need to go get fancy makeup.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
mean,
exactly.
fancy makeup's not going to fix this either, so we might as well just call it what it is. But yeah.
You don't need no fancy makeup.
Aw. Now we're
Yeah.
gonna go out to the burlesque show. It's a fundraiser for a friend who passed quite suddenly from COVID. So, and it's
Yeah.
also just a good excuse to get out of the house. So we have like a babysitter all night.
Right. Yeah,
I'm
that's
hoping to make it
perfect.
to midnight.
Exactly.
But
Well, that's great. Yeah, we
yeah.
I was thinking about going, but that's way too late for me. I can't go out after 9 anymore.
Oh, I
It's,
like
it's
last night we had company over for like the first time. Dusty's folks came over for supper, so it's like the first time I've seen my living room clean.
oh
But
yeah.
we had company over, made a big meal. Dusty even baked a pie, had some wine, and I mean, like out like 10:30, I was just passed out. Like I don't think I've had a big like a heavy meal like that in ever. I mean, it wasn't bad, but we are old listeners, and if you didn't know that,
Yeah, yeah,
the joke's on
exactly.
you.
Yeah, it's just I don't know. I don't know. It really creeps up on you too. I think it's not so much that we're old, it's just that we're parents.
Yeah.
And that takes a lot out of out of you during the day.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Today we had to rake the leaves. Like
Oof.
15 bags of leaves later. I'm just like, maybe we should cut those trees down.
Yeah. Yeah, we beat you by one bag. We just took 16 bags to the landfill.
Oh yeah. And I did have, like I said, the best compliment ever. Cause like when I get to the landfill, I'm like, I'm done. I'm done with all this shit. And I just get in the back and I am just like throwing these huge bags out of there. I don't care if you're in my way. Like, old man, this is just gonna be how you die because these leaves are getting fucking out of the van. And this guy looks over, he's got his pickup truck. He's like he's got a little broom and he's shooing them out of the back of his truck. He's like, oh, you can really throw those things. I'm just like, yep, bye.
I had a couple of
Mind your own
pumpkins.
business, old man.
I had a couple of pumpkins I had to get rid of, and I had a fun time just shot putting them. So
Yeah, It's very cathartic. And after
It was.
I mean, and it's the thing where you're like driving home, like, what's gonna hurt the most tomorrow? My
Yeah.
back, my shoulder,
Yeah.
all of it.
Yeah. I'm already feeling that too.
I really like, and this is like a new phenomenon. Like my hands really hurt after raking. I'm just like, oh, that's
really?
not good. I need you.
Well, the bat, whenever I rake, and I can see it right now, I get really red marks on the inside of my hand. You can see right there. It's almost
Oh,
like
yeah.
I'm getting, it's almost like I'm getting a blister just from going back and forth all the time. It's on the other side too. There's a little red.
I got some good work gloves, but it doesn't seem to matter. I still get blisters. It's because I'm such a
Oh.
hard worker, obviously.
I don't like work gloves just because it's just so sweaty on my hands. I mean, I'm a
You're a human
hot-blooded-
furnace.
Yeah, exactly. It doesn't matter what part of my body, it is always
I love
hot at all
I love when we were
times.
driving together. And I'm like, do we even want the heat on? Are you already hot?
It's like, yes, I was
know how you
already sweating very much at that point, but I don't complain a lot either. That's the problem.
Well, I appreciate that. If we ever have to share a space, I'm going to be in like 3 cardigans and you're going to have shorts and your Whataburger Hawaiian shirt.
Yes. Yeah. I'm glad you mentioned that.
Somebody open a window in here. It's warm.
I was just gonna do it. Yeah, Whataburger makes clothes, and I don't know, for those that are watching the video, there's an actual says Whataburger right across there, and it's probably reversed like it shows right now. But anyway, I got this from one of the stores. I went to visit them, and I talked about being kind of a food guy and talking a lot about Whataburger, and they thought it was funny. So they, when I came to visit them, they got me a Whataburger shirt, so I'd always think about them. And so yeah, I'm going to.
I love a Hawaiian shirt. I can't help it. I think they're great. They look flattering on everybody. I need like a Whataburger like button-up Hawaiian dress. I don't know, that's a thing, but
Ooh,
now that I've put it into the universe, make it happen.
We're gonna have to look it up now. Yeah, absolutely. Well, one of the things, talking about Whataburger and food and everything, one of the things that I was thinking about that I am kind of getting into a little bit more than I ever have before, and I'm crediting it with Nick at Haloji with his hot sauces, is that I'm really getting into spicy and hot things and really enjoying the burn. And kind of the thing that he talked about was, you can have that, you can kind of revel in that burn, and I'm really kind of enjoying that. In fact, I told you about this, and I'll show you. And this is the bag of,
there's the almonds, right?
the Sriracha almonds. Yeah, so it's a 2.5 pound bag that I got for $5 at Hy-Vee, because I don't know, I think it's already expired. No,
It
it's
just
gonna
adds
be
to the
soon,
heat,
but-
right?
yeah, but still, it's good. So, and they are outstanding. I was like, and this is exactly what I was looking for. I was just like, I want something hot and bold.
So,
And
are they like smoked almonds, or are they just like roasted almonds?
they're kind of smoked, but not much.
Okay.
I don't like it when they're overly smoked either, because it tastes a little bit chemically at that point.
Yeah, I think it's because I'm so used to like liquid smoke, and it just like too much smoke tastes like liquid smoke, which is just hard pass.
Right.
I'm much more of a cashew person. If I had to choose a favorite nut,
Ooh,
they're-
cashews are good. Yeah, absolutely.
I will destroy a bag of cashews. It'll make me sick as a dog, but I do not care.
Right. I do like cashews, but I do like the almond better than the cashew, just because I like the harder texture. Yeah, so I like having more of the chew. Cashews are definitely a softer chew.
Yeah.
So
Well, I'm
yeah.
kind of a softie, so.
Oh yeah, you are.
You missed
So that's-
this humor, everybody.
If you're not used to it by now.
That's right. What are you even tuning in for?
Right. So yeah, so I would say I'm getting into that. I'm drinking my Surly beer. So I don't know.
I'm not even drinking
That's not
anything
much.
right now. It's pretty lame. I
It is
drank all the
pretty
beer
lame.
when we were raking.
Oh, that's funny.
Yeah. I had the last beer in the shower because I was like, I mean, nothing helps you celebrate like a shower beer.
Nothing like a shower
And I
beer,
might as well save
exactly.
up. I'm going to try to have a couple drinks. And again, I don't want to get like too tired, and I don't know. I want to hang. I'm also pretty lame. So
Yeah.
I'm also kind of like,
I have a
oh, but I
feeling.
want to do things tomorrow. I've got like, till noon without a kid. I
Yeah.
could just sleep, but I could also get things done. Yeah, I'm a crazy person.
Yeah. I have a feeling once the burlesque show starts up, you'll start to perk up a little bit
Yeah,
too.
I
So
mean, it's hard to fall asleep when you got pasties in your face, right?
exactly.
And I know half the people performing, and I haven't really until was it like 3 years ago when they first started putting the burlesque troupe together. I went to go see them at the book co-op, and it was a blast. It was really fun. So I'm really excited to see how much they've developed since then. It's kind of
I
gonna
bet.
knock my socks off. Better bring a second pair.
I bet. Exactly. Exactly. You mentioned tomorrow. Tomorrow we're celebrating my daughter's birthday.
Oh, fun!
Yeah, we're going to Skate City.
Ooh, yeah. What time are you guys
Yeah.
going to Skate City?
We're going there at 2 o'clock, from 2 to 4. So
Nice.
she's got a list of 15 friends that
Oh, fun.
she's gonna be bringing with. Yeah, so it's gonna be a good time. And on top of that, my son asked if he could invite a friend, and
Cool.
yeah, very cool. So he's not one to really be have close relationships with people. So it's really cool that he's comfortable enough to do this,
Yeah.
and it's a girl.
Ooh.
So yes, I don't know.
You're
I
like,
give
I
him
don't
a
know.
tough time, but at the same sense, I'm just like, you do
That's
you.
good for
But
him. I know
yeah,
it's hard, he's at an age where it's really hard to like make friends, make new friends, ask friends
yeah,
to do things. So that's cool. He's growing
yeah.
up. Mm,
Oh, I know. It's crazy. It's crazy. Yeah. So, and he's in a new school this year, and it's a new school to everyone. So everyone's kind of just got pushed into this together. So it's great. He's got someone that he talks to, or sounds like he talks to a lot during the day, and which is funny because it is a child of a derby player.
oh, fun.
So yeah. And
It's a
so
small world.
yeah, yeah. And then the person in the afternoon is this girl that they've been hanging out with each other a lot. So
Cool.
yeah, so it's good. You could say I'm getting into watching my kids grow up.
Yeah, I mean, it's fun. I spent the better part of a day painting a box for it. We finally took home a giant line set box. So for anyone who doesn't know, obviously like 99% of you have no idea what line sets are, but they're these huge boxes. They're like
Yeah,
4 foot by 3 foot. They're
yeah,
massive.
they're
And they're the
massive.
best boxes. Like they're like double reinforced on the bottom. We use them actually in the warehouse to like haul trash all the time. So I had to borrow the work van today to haul all my stupid leaves, but it also meant I got to haul a line set box home. So
Nice.
I've been pretending like this is for my child, but I am definitely just making this into my own little fort. Like I painted the sides. It's got a door. It has, it's not electrified, but it does have fairy lights inside. So it's illuminated. I'm hoping tomorrow I can get a little cooler with some beer and just kind of hang out in there. And then I realized I'm like, oh my God, I've become an Onion article. Like, millennials who want vacation homes are now just decorating boxes in their own tiny homes to experience a vacation. Like, it's so funny because it's so sad and
You're
true.
becoming a statistic.
Yeah, yeah. So Dusty's like, you should make a video. I'm like, oh yeah. So like me giving a tour of our new vacation home.
Oh, funny.
Step
That's
inside,
funny.
enjoy the luxury. It's so
Right.
rustic. Every day we're just a bigger and bigger joke. But hey, at least we're having
uh,
fun, and Zooks is having fun. He got to pick out because he's still into mushrooms. So
yeah.
he told me what mushrooms he wanted. He's really into stinkhorns, which, if you are not familiar, they are perhaps the most phallic of the mushroom kingdom. They
Oh,
literally
fun.
just look like gray and white penises.
Oh, good.
Yeah, so I told him we were only going to do one stinkhorn. It's not going to be very big, and we're going to make it yellow, so it's not quite as phallic looking.
Sure.
Yeah,
Nice.
I'm going to write on their stinkhorn too, just in case, like, I don't know.
I don't know. I think still
Somebody
people can
comes there
probably
and
still
starts
take
calling
that a
child
different way.
services. This woman
Yeah.
has a little house in her house and it has penises on it.
Right, right.
It's a mushroom, I swear.
It says stinkhorn, but we all know what that means.
We all know what that means. Do we? Is that what the kids are calling it today? Please don't.
I don't know, but they probably should. I mean, that
As in
sounds
not
like
the
a fun.
kid. I can't tell you what they're calling it, but don't, if you're calling a penis a stinkhorn, like, who hurt you?
It's an unwashed, uncut penis. That's it's the stinkhorn.
Gentlemen, do not call it your stinkhorn. Also, just full disclosure.
Oh, see, they're taking away all my fun now.
Who told you? So last weekend I helped out with a short film. We had a friend of mine who he got a grant to take the stage production that it was like a little one-act play that he got a grant for to turn into a short film. So he asked me to be an actor in it, which is crazy because I am not an actress. I also have zero memory. Like, I didn't have a great memory before my concussion. Now it's like non-existent. But so I was calling it my support phone that just had the screenplay on there, so I could just look at it between takes.
Oh, funny.
But one of the scenes, like the actress I was with had to pull a rubber bat out of her bra and throw it at somebody. So that's officially my name for my bra, is the Bat Cave.
The Bat Cave.
Yeah, a long way to get to that story, but we got there.
That's right. How was the experience of acting then?
It was good. It was really fun. I'm thankful that it's not on a stage, because you really just have a couple camera guys, the sound guy, and the director there. So it's definitely not as nerve-wracking as being in front of a huge crowd.
Sure.
And you can do as many takes as you want. So
right.
Even if you flub your line, it's like, all right, we'll just take it up from here. Okay.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
It makes me realize that, maybe on film, maybe you don't have to be that great of an actor. Well, you still have to be a good actor, which I'm not, but you don't have to have a great memory.
There you go.
I always realize that's how you can tell if somebody's a really bad actor. There's lots and lots of cuts.
Right. What was it? Was it Orson Welles that was notorious for being a bad memorizer? And
I think it was Marlon
Brando.
Yeah,
so
that's you would have like somebody stand in front of him with like the lines like taped to their forehead.
Right. Yeah. He was a great actor. He couldn't remember a line worth a lick, but yeah.
Well, and it was even trickier because I had memorized the lines, or I was trying to memorize the lines for one part. And then like 3 days before, the director wanted to switch it. So the other gal took my lines and I took hers. So we were like flowing over each other's lines because we had memorized the opposite ones.
Oh, God.
We made it work. And we had fun, so that's what
good,
counts, right?
Yeah,
we had good chemistry, so it worked.
Oh, that's good. That will show through at least.
Yeah, I hope so. I'm sure that we'll tell everybody like whenever it becomes available.
Yeah, there you go. Everyone will be talking like this the whole time, but I don't know. There's podcasts that sound like that.
Yeah, I also realize that is just the way some people talk, but yeah, for this, we were supposed to be mobsters, so I was trying to channel my inner Harley Quinn. Not sure if it worked, but we'll find
out. Oh, great.
I'm just going to be an offensive stereotype. Yay!
Well, if you're going to be a stereotype, you might as well be an offensive one.
Well, of course.
Oh, shoot. So what else are you getting into?
I was gonna fully prepared to gush and talk about Cowboy Bebop, but I haven't watched it yet.
Oh no!
I'm a huge Cowboy Bebop fan. I own the whole series on Blu-ray. I own the movie. I have junk stuff before when you had to buy it online. It would ship months later from Japan. So I've been super excited. I've been following every teaser video. I follow all the showrunners.
Oh wow.
So I'm really excited for it. It's just I wanted to sit so I could sit down and binge it.
Sure.
But so I'm really excited. I'm sure the next episode I will be able to really get into it, but I'm really excited for Cowboy Bebop.
So I did watch the first episode of Cowboy Bebop because you were talking about it before. I was like, I should probably not the new one, but the old one, I should say. And I said, I should probably watch this. And I'll say I like the first episode. I mean, it's good so far. I'm looking forward to getting to know the characters a little bit more. But
yeah, and I never watched until I bought the box set. I'd never watched the show in order because I always just watched it on Adult Swim.
Whenever
and, it'd be whenever I'd catch it. So until I sat and watched it, I was like, oh, now this all makes sense. But I mean, I still obviously fell in love with the characters, and the whole world is just fun.
Yeah.
I like how cartoonish and silly it is. So
right.
And the music too.
The music is great. It's phenomenal. Yeah.
Yeah, and they got the original composer from the animated series on the Netflix series. So that's why I was just like, well, that gives me a lot of hope. I'm sure people are gonna have their hot takes on everything, but I mean, it's
Right.
like anything else. Not everyone's gonna like it. If it's not for you, whatever.
So I caught a part of a interview that John Cho
Hmm.
was on NPR, where they were talking to him about him and his experience with Star Trek, since he was a part of Star Trek and
Hmm.
people hated that, and because it wasn't the original,
Right.
and now being a
This
part of
rabid
Cowboy
fan base.
Bebop. Right, exactly. You have this rabid fan base that are expecting to see certain things, and you don't really. You kind of have to expect that there's going to be some pushback, no matter what, just because of how rabid the fans are. And he had a kind of interesting thing, a take on it. He's just like, I've done these things, and yeah, you're always going to have someone that's not going to like it, but I always look at it as what we're doing is similar to cover bands,
Hmm.
making a cover out of a
Yeah, this is a
song that,
tribute, right?
yeah, exactly. It's putting your own spin onto something. So you have that there, you have the words there and everything, but you're putting your own spin on it to be able
Hmm.
to make it your own. And I was like, that's a great way to look at it. And also you think of all the things that's going on with the Marvel movies and Spider-Man and all this other stuff. Now, it's funny that they've had so many different versions of Spider-Man,
Right.
with the new movie coming out, the Far From Home, where they're
Hmm.
introducing the multiverse now.
Hmm.
And I don't know, I don't know if you've seen the latest trailer, but it
Yeah.
looks phenomenal.
Yeah.
I can't wait for that to come out in I think it's Christmas Day or
Yeah,
right
I was gonna
around
say, and
there.
it's next month. So
Yeah,
I
yeah,
think that's a cool way, like, and especially talk about like a tribute. I think what's interesting about remaking things and the inevitable backlash you're going to get is when you're remaking something, especially like a franchise, there's a lot of history there. You're remaking something that is going to be a reflection of the time that it's airing. So,
oh sure,
like, Cowboy Bebop came out in the early aughts, late 90s, and the things that it's talking about and the styles are very different than now. And there's no way that anybody can create something now that's not going to be tinged with all of the energy and politics and concerns and fears that people have. So
right,
even people watching like the new Ghostbusters, it's another thing where I'm like, you're going to have probably a million hot takes on that, but
yeah,
the Ghostbusters of the 80s can't be the Ghostbusters of now because we live in the now. And
right,
I started getting into a podcast called the Horror Vanguard. It's a
okay,
movie podcast, but I really like it because they dive into exclusively horror movies, but they really dive into like just I don't know, like a really philosophical bent to it. And I recently listened to one of Mandy because I love Mandy, one of the
yeah,
greatest films of all time, with one of the greatest actors of all time, of course.
of course,
But I thought it was interesting when they talk about it. Like this is a movie that's coded for the 80s, but doesn't happen in the 80s.
mm,
Like you watch a series like Stranger Things, like this is the 80s, right? It's
right,
like
oh yeah,
dripping with like cultural touchstones and nostalgia. But like Mandy isn't. But you still know it's the 80s because they're leaving you just enough breadcrumbs. And it's almost like it still feels very modern despite being like a historic film. So, I mean, I thought it was an interesting approach I hadn't really thought about when you're looking at movies that are trying to be set in a different era. And it's like, are they trying to emulate that era or are they trying to tell us things about our modern time in that era?
yeah,
Deep.
yeah, absolutely. I saw a show that was very similar to that. Gosh, what was the name of it now? Oh, it's on Amazon.
We guys hear the thumping upstairs. Zooks is awake.
Utopia. Oh, Zook's awake.
Yeah, boom, 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 boom. The baby elephants escaped from his cage.
Oh, that's funny. I think it's Utopia is the name of the show
Okay.
on Amazon. Anyway, the reason why I'm bringing it up is because it's a remake of a British show,
Okay.
and it is. I've seen the remake or the first version of it, the Utopia, and then I also watched Is that what it's called? Utopia. Yeah, Utopia. Absolutely. I watched the get rid of the light. The new version of Utopia, and I was like, oh, this is cool. This is kind of interesting how it's coming about, and it talks about the pandemic type scenarios, and it came out right when COVID hit. So it's just like, ooh, this is almost too close to home.
Yeah, right.
And then I found out that there was actually the original TV show, British show, the same name, Utopia, and it was just different enough that it felt like a completely different show. And I think the reason why is because, one, it was in a different setting. It was obviously America instead of England, and two, just the feeling of gloom and despair. I think they must have known that something was going to happen, or what, I don't know. It seems really odd, but it definitely seemed more like today, even though there was only 4 or 5 years that was between the two. It's especially nowadays, it just seems like there's so much
Yeah.
difference
When
between those couple of years.
when did it come out originally?
Yes, I
Of
don't
course,
know.
you closed the tab, right? You're like,
I
no.
did. I did. Um,
It's the only reason I was asking. So they knew you closed it.
Utopia, British thriller series, came out in 2014.
Okay, interesting.
Yep. And the other one, first episode actually 2013. It's just two seasons. But yeah, the other one just came out last year, 2020.
Interesting.
But yeah, it felt so different. The two different ones, but it was definitely the same feeling. I mean, they had some certain areas where it was the same. They had one place where a guy loses an eye, and he lost the eye in the exact same way. It was almost shot for shot in that way, but then there was other places that was leading up to that. How they met was in a different type of scenario. In the American version, they met all at a Comic-Con, whereas the other version, it was just meeting on the side of the road, setting something up at a public place, because people were afraid of people being killers, mass murderers, whatever. So, but yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
And I also think, like, looking back at films, it's interesting kind of how you can project some of the fears and anxieties you have of today onto films and go, man, like, this really feels relevant because it's speaking to something that still
Right.
happens.
Yeah. Well, so funny enough, show that I've been just starting to get into was an older show that I've been told many times that I should listen or watch it, is iZombie. And I watched the entire series, or first season, I should say, the first season, in my travels this last week. And it was had a lot of layovers. So I had plenty of time to
Oh boy.
watch it. Oh, it was something else. But it was interesting because it was treating it like it's like, oh, if this gets out, and the zombie, what they're doing, it's more of a some kind of a chemical, some kind of a planned thing that comes through, a drug that goes wrong, and they're not actually zombies, but they act like zombies. So it was interesting how they're taking it from this point of view of this is a pandemic, and it's like, we just went through one of those.
I know what those are.
Right.
Yeah.
So yeah, it is interesting, especially when you watch that. And iZombie came out only 5 years ago or something like that.
It's a fairly recent move or series.
Yeah. So it's interesting how that works.
So I try not to write anything too dystopic. I don't want to like have it be real.
Oh, I know.
Or go, oh yeah.
Yeah, and that's where Utopia was really weird too, because yeah, it was just they're talking about these designer diseases that were being created in a lab,
Hmm.
and the way that they were to getting the message out to people on what was going on is that this guy that was this crazed guy started drawing comics, and they
Hmm.
became a collector series, this comic books that they created, the Utopia, so, and
Interesting.
Dystopia. Yeah, yeah. So yeah, so they were trying to find the comics and the people, what was in the comics, because they didn't know where the guy was at or where his daughter was at.
Hmm.
And so everyone has a different name, and so then it starts showing, who's Mr. Rabbit, which I thought was hilarious that it's Mr. Rabbit with our equal love of the podcast rabbits.
Rabbits.
uh you have to pause before you say that.
Yes, just it's like
Rabbits.
telling you,
Yeah.
that winter dream project is to make a fictional podcast. But we'll have to pause before we say the name. Rabbits.
Rabbits.
It is a fun show. Check it out. But yeah, that is every time
It
dramatic
is.
pause.
Have you
Rabbit.
listened to any of the second season?
I haven't. Like
I
I
haven't
feel like
either.
this last year I've kind of maxed out a lot of my capacity to listen to podcasts while I work. It's
Right.
just, I mean, I don't know, maybe this is a side effect from having COVID, but I just feel like my ADD has just been like amped up to 11 this last year, and I really can't listen to things like I used to when I work. Like I have to just have background music.
Right. And I'm the same way. When I'm working, I can't listen to a podcast because I find myself just listening to the podcast and paying attention instead
And then
of
I'm
just
typing what I'm hearing and I go, oh shit.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
There goes
So
half an hour of work because I was
right,
flubbing everything up.
right.
I just get
So
interrupted at work so much anymore too that it's hard not to lose concentration and go back and re-listen. I really like shorter ones. I've been listening to like a lot of shows that are like 15-minute episodes,
oh
just a
wow.
little topic, and I can kind of breeze through.
Yeah, absolutely. My drives that I've been doing in between store visits has been really great because they're usually about 2 or 3 hours. So I've
Hmm.
been able to pull up a podcast or two and listen to that.
Yeah, I kind of missed that windshield time. I mean, we
Oh yeah.
hopefully start traveling again this spring. But
Yeah,
yeah,
you
there's
don't
nothing
really
like a
want
good
to.
road trip just to binge like a whole show, whole series and just really enjoy it.
Yeah, I've been getting caught up on so there's been two podcasts I've been really focusing on. One of them you actually got me interested in was the film Reroll.
Oh, I love
Oh yeah,
it.
so it's like a
So funny.
D&D game that has the rules of a movie, a popular movie, kind of there to be able to guide everything, but based off of the roll of the dice is what's going to go in which direction. I just was listening to Aliens.
Ooh, I haven't listened to
The
that one yet.
Oh, it's
Good?
so it's good. Have you listened to the original Alien that they did as well? So
No.
I didn't listen to that one either. I would say if you're going to listen to it, listen to
Start with
that one
that.
first, because they took kind of the point of view that they had through the movie itself. So like Alien is a Ridley Scott movie, right?
Hmm.
And Ridley, that's right, right?
Yeah.
Ridley Scott, yeah. And so it's the whole idea is the aliens is you don't really see them throughout the movie Alien because it's the fear behind
Hmm.
it, of what could be there.
Yeah. Where
Uh,
are they at? What could it do?
right, right, right. And so when Aliens came out, it was like a complete 180. It's like face huggers everywhere,
Yes.
and
Yes.
aliens everywhere, and it was James Cameron that did that one, and just kind of said, yeah, I know these characters and I'm just going to use them, but I don't really know what they really did. I mean, I'm just going to kind of put them in a
Put her on
completely
the wall.
different
See what sticks.
scenario.
Yeah.
Yeah, so they did the same thing with the film Reroll.
Oh,
They
that's funny.
they did everything, and one of the main things that came out of the first one with Alien is that these aliens released a chemical that had psycho effect psycho
Psychological, or is it like
psycholo- yeah,
psychedelic?
psychedelic. It's psychedelic. It was
Okay.
it makes
Like
you see
hallucinating
things and feel and
tripping.
experience, hallucinate, stuff like that. And so they took that concept and they said, okay, well, that's canon. So we're going to take that and we're going to put that into Aliens, even though it's not actually in the
Right.
movie Aliens. But we took that concept, which is kind of the same thing that they did with the original movie, is that they took this concept and they took a couple of these characters and they put them into this other scenario and said, even though that this doesn't make sense, it doesn't matter. This is a different world,
right?
Type thing. So I really like that about the film Reroll. And then the other podcast I've been getting into is the 3 Questions with Andy Richter. And I've been really loving that because I love listening to celebrity interviews. And it's Andy is one of these guys that, has a really, I don't know, everyone seems to love him, and it just everyone is really willing to share with him. So there's a lot of people that talk about things that they probably wouldn't talk about otherwise, and Andy's just kind of got a don't give a fuck attitude, and so
it works, right?
So it's interesting listening to that. And he's an actor that doesn't really like being on stage. He's just like, I'd rather do things so I can hang out with the people that I want to hang out with, instead of having to do something for an audience or for someone, even though that is my medium, that is what I do. Yeah.
I'm a performer, but
yeah. So it's a weird scenario that he has there. And so he talks to a lot of different actors about this. And there's some actors that it's just like, oh yeah, ever since I was 5 years old and doing commercials, and as I was growing up, I knew that this was it. I love the stage and everything. Is just like, yeah, I don't really get it.
Me.
Yeah, it's not for me. I never did it for the people. I did it for the parties. It was just
I did it to make friends. It was for the memories we made along the way.
Yeah, exactly. So it's interesting because you have those interviews which you could tell that probably someone else got him involved with it. He wasn't really close to the people, and then you got the people on there, like he did an interview with Aisha Tyler, and
fun.
Oh my God, they were just hilarious. They were friends from way back in the day, and then they just was talking things through, and just like, we got a lot more in common than we really realized.
Why are we hanging out more often?
Yeah. So and at that time they were just both of them just got through a divorce after being together with the person for like 25 years, something like that. So it was one of those things that it's just like, we're very similar in that way. And had a really
having a real moment, right? Just like yeah.
Had really wild, crazy youth type things that they did, and we were talking about that, and now they're talking about it's just like, what? I just want to stay in my house, smoke some weed, and that's going to be a night for me. That's all I want to do nowadays, type thing. So
yeah, I think we're all reaching that point in the pandemic.
Right. It's just good that it's illegal more
That's
places
great.
now.
I was tuning in on Twitter earlier this week. They were doing so in South Dakota. They were giving away they were doing a lotto for the licenses for medical dispensaries in the state, and they literally had like a big thing with the bingo balls in it. Like, I mean, I get it. You needed to find a fair, impartial way to do it, but I just found it hilarious. And I was reading like the tweets that were basically the play-by-plays, the numbers were drawn. And he said the first person like jumped up and had like a little air horn on their phone. It was like, beep, beep, beep. And I was like, well, they did just literally win a license to print money. So I would be pretty pumped too.
Absolutely.
That's what it is.
Yeah. There were 71 balls that they had in it, if I remember right. And only 5 licenses were given out based off of those 71. Yeah, exactly. I mean, if they didn't want to get into it, they could turn around and sell that. I think it was a $50,000 license that they had to pay for. Yeah, they could turn around and
you're gonna make that back in the first month.
Yeah.
Hands down. But hey, if anybody who got a medical dispensary license wants to come on our show, we'd love to hear how you got into that.
That's great. Wonder if we could find someone. I'm sure we know someone that has some
I feel
kind
like
of.
I know someone that knows somebody.
Yeah,
But
I'm sure we got.
I mean, you're talking to somebody like, what was it? We had the head engineer from Fujitsu come through once for a training, and he was saying he'd just come back from being in Canada for 2 months, working with dispensaries on VRF systems because
Oh,
of the
right.
unique, temperature requirements and humidity, having
Humidity.
different zones within the same building. He's just like, yeah, VRF's perfect for it. Sorry for everyone who doesn't know anything about variable frequency refrigeration systems, but that's your fault, not mine. So
Look it up.
these are the things I nerd out on. Leah's getting into commercial refrigeration. I guess this is technically just like HVAC, but
Right.
I digress.
Yes. I that's one of the things I ask people when I go traveling around to them. It's just like, yeah, I just realized this is weed is recreational here now. And it's like, oh yeah, it's been for a while, or whatever the case may be. And it's just like, how has that changed your business? And they're like, oh man, it's crazy. The grow houses, it's so much business in there, and all the business is done in cash, because that's all they can do with it. So they love it. I mean, the contractors out there that are building these grow houses, as well as the ones that are selling them, which is what Johnstone's doing. But yeah, it's a unique business that they have to get into, because it's not only trying to get the right temperature, but keeping it the right humidity as well, in order to be able to grow as efficiently as possible.
Yeah, I recently watched a documentary about a guy in, I want to say it was in like New Mexico, who does commercial mushroom raising. So he has all these different chambers with different kinds of mushrooms, like oyster mushrooms, shiitake mushrooms, lion mane. Of course, Zooks and I are watching this, but I was kind of like the same thing, like, oh, tell me more about this refrigeration system, because like some of the rooms have to have very specific moisture levels and have to have very specific temperatures, and then like moving the mushrooms around so they can grow at the right like pace. I'm just like, oh, this is fascinating. We're going to turn this into the HVAC nerd podcast. It doesn't take much. Like I feel like a different lifetime, like Leah would have been like maybe a building science major or something, but
sure.
not anything that like you're really going and talking to kids about in high school.
Yeah, right.
You ever wonder where we came up with that room temperature thing? Yeah, I'm not gonna. I think there was a whole thing on Community about that, but.
Oh, really?
Yeah, like I think John Goodman is in charge of the HVAC like trades division, and he's trying to like lure Troy into like doing it.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah,
awesome.
I'll have to rewatch. I kind of fell off that show after like the second season, but it's just because I can't have a long-term relationship with any series.
Yeah.
I cheat and then I forget and then I'm just over it. So sorry.
Right. It's been hard for me to get back into ones after watching them for a while. It's funny too. I find that where I watch certain series, it makes a lot more sense where I'm at. So whether I'm on a plane or whether I'm at home, or so recently I've been well, not recently, I've been going to a sauna for a long time. I go to the sauna house, and they have TVs inside the sauna house, and I have figured out what the password is for them. When you sit there enough times, you just keep on pressing buttons, right? And you figure it out. Yeah. So I figured out how to get into that and log into Netflix while I'm doing my sauna. Nice. And I've been really watching a lot of BoJack Horseman.
I got into that a couple years ago when I was home from maternity leave. It was
oh, that's fun.
Yeah, I enjoyed it.
Yeah, it's been really
not
good.
What I expected.
And I like it when I'm doing the sauna, because when I'm usually in the sauna, I'm doing stretches and whatnot, because I'm trying to just loosen up my back. And so
relax.
Yeah. So I'm not really watching it, the TV, so much as I'm listening to it. And there's not as many sight gags that you really have to worry about. And it's done really well with the the script and whatnot. It's just, I mean,
The
it's
talky wordy things. I get
the
it.
talky wordy thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I liked it because I was, again, kind of like, I was watching a newborn. So it was something I could kind of like pop in and out of. And I didn't feel like I was, if I was listening in the next room, I didn't feel like I was missing out a bunch. So yeah, I totally agree. It's a good thing to listen to, but you don't have to necessarily watch it too closely.
Yeah. I tried watching Big Mouth one time when I was in
I
at
haven't
the
checked that out yet.
Big Mouth. It's basically animated middle school kids that have dirty mouths, and you see a lot of naked teenagers, which they're animated, but it's still kind of weird, type
Yeah.
thing. But so yeah, so it's very visual, and I found out that's not one for that, and it's a lot of sight gags, and it's just like I kept on stretching, and I was on, oh, what did I miss? And then I'd stretch, and oh, what I miss? I didn't get anything out of that time that I was there. So
Meh.
yeah, meh. All right. Anything else that you wanted to chat about?
That's pretty much the only thing I've really got on my list.
Okay. I didn't really have much of a list. I had a couple of things, been doing a lot of traveling lately, so been kind of preoccupied with that. But yeah, so it's been a lot of, and when I'm at home, I watch a lot of Netflix. So a lot of different TV shows that I'm either just getting into, or else they're getting some new seasons out that I'm enjoying as well. Um, I don't know. What's your thoughts on the second season of Tiger King? Are you planning on watching it?
Eh,
That's kind of what
I
I'm
feel
thinking
like I,
too.
I I really have such a small amount of time to devote to watching television. And I'm like, I feel like there's so much other good stuff out there that I want to make time for. I don't think I'm gonna tune in.
I think when the first season came out, it
It
was
was
the
a
perfect
different
timing.
time.
It was a different time,
There was
and it
also a
was the
lot less
perfect
stuff to
timing.
watch too, I would argue.
Yeah.
But
Well, and at that point, were you just going into lockdown in most places? I mean,
yeah,
so, and not going out and not being able to go places. So it was really easy to be able to get into something that was, a really lowbrow, I guess you
yeah.
could call it. I mean,
It was a
it's
lowbrow sense of escapism that,
yeah,
everyone being pretty much trapped in your homes. It was a welcome change. Like now, I'm going to a burlesque show tonight. Like we can actually leave our houses and do things again in
right,
some
right.
capacity.
So
So it
I
is
don't, I
harder and
don't
harder
know.
for me to justify sitting on my couch when it's like, well, I could go out and do some stuff or
Right.
go to sleep.
Yeah, yeah. Sleep's good
Sleep
too.
usually wins out a lot. I won't lie.
I agree. I agree. All right. Well, you have fun tonight. Definitely have to talk about how you're getting into burlesque.
Yep,
And
yep. Because I guarantee like this time next week I will be posting pictures about guys. I'm making artisan pasties
right, exactly.
just in time for the holiday. Get you little Santa hats.
Right.
Now that I've said it, I will be making those. I'm not going to wear them for the next episode, but again, I'll find something to be
You have to
into.
find someone to wear them at least.
Yeah,
That's
eventually the show just morphs into like, what the shit's Leah getting into, and how can Brett talk her out of spending more money on it?
I have a tendency to do that, don't I?
Oh, you're getting into something else new? Great. Like you realize you don't get merit badges for these things. What?
Wait a second.
I'm getting into making my own merit badges.
There you go.
I wouldn't put it past me. I mean, I do like stickers a lot.
So I have to ask, have you watched the show Making It?
No.
You know the show Making It?
Is this that craft one?
Yes.
I've heard of it. I have not watched it yet.
Oh,
Again, it's just going to give me more ideas. And
I have a feeling that you would absolutely like it. It's Amy Poehler and Nick Offerman.
yes,
And
I love both of them so much.
they
So.
are amazing together. But exactly what you're talking about with like badges and stuff like that. That's how they award badges to people that win. And it's amazing. It's a lot of
glitter
fun.
on everything. You're like a little
Yeah.
Salt Bay.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, and Ruthless Rudy and I are getting together on Black Friday to do Christmas crafts and make lefse. So you can guarantee there's going to be some shenanigans up in there because she's like my other half that also like gets into every hobby 100,000%.
We need to get Rudy on the show sometime. I
We
think that would be
should. She would
fun.
be a blast.
Yeah.
You know,
I don't
something
think
that
I'd
she
be
would
able
be
to.
fun to talk about. She's recently kind of gotten into like genealogy and stuff. So she was adopted and, you know, has been trying to reconnect with that. And the reason she's coming over is because she did one of the genealogy tests and found out she's Norwegian. And I was like,
Ah,
well, you need to come over and learn. You have to make lefse. Lefse is like the quintessential like Norwegian food.
oh
So
yeah.
I'm going to teach her the ways of the lefse
Oh, funny.
and also eat a lot of lefse because I love lefse. So it should
Well,
be
and
fun.
I'm adopted too, so that'd be definitely a great thing that her and I could talk over too.
Yeah, that would be cool.
Yeah. All right. All right. Well, I suppose we should probably get going. So
I guess you've got an exciting evening. I've got some boobs to look at. I mean, sky's the limit, folks.
you definitely have a better evening ahead of you than I do.
I hope so.
I just get to look at the same boobs I see every other night. So
They're not bad boobs though, right?
there are. No, I'll say they're not. They're not bad boobs at all.
Tell Donna, I'll make her some pasties just for you.
Perfect.
You guys can fight over who gets to wear them too.
Oh,
Now there is
that's
something to
great.
get into.
Absolutely.
All right.
Well, I
On
think
that
we
high
made it.
note, we'll see you next time.
Exactly. Take care.
See ya.
Bye.